Nick and Leah's love story at the mart. Nick had never imagined that a simple visit to the neighborhood mart would change his life forever. Every evening after work, he stopped by the small grocery store to buy snacks, coffee, or whatever he needed for the next day. It was an ordinary routine until he met Leah. Leah had recently started working as a cashier at the mart. She was kind, cheerful, and always greeted customers with a warm smile. Her friendly nature made everyone feel welcome. The first time Nick saw her, he noticed how she smiled at every customer, no matter how busy the store was. When it was his turn to pay, she looked up and said, "Good evening, did you find everything you were looking for?" He smiled back, "Yes, thanks to you." It was only a short conversation, but it stayed in his mind long after he left the store. From that day on, Nick found himself visiting the mart more often than necessary. Sometimes he bought only a bottle of water or a chocolate bar just to see Leah. They began talking about small things, the weather, favorite snacks, funny customers, and their daily routines. Every conversation made them laugh a little more. One rainy evening, Nick entered the mart completely soaked. He had forgotten his umbrella, and the heavy rain had caught him by surprise. Leah quickly handed him a towel that the staff kept behind the counter. "You'll catch a cold," she said with concern. Nick laughed. "Looks like I already did." She made him a cup of hot coffee from the staff room during her break. They sat near the front window, watching the rainfall, while talking about their dreams. Nick shared his wish to start his own graphic design business one day, while Leah talked about becoming a teacher because she loved helping children learn. That evening brought them closer than ever. Weeks passed, and their friendship grew stronger. Nick often waited until Leah finished her shift so they could walk home together. They discovered they both loved old movies, street food, and watching sunsets. They encouraged each other to work harder toward their goals. One weekend, the mart organized a small community event with games and food stalls. Nick volunteered to help set up decorations just so he could spend more time with Leah. Throughout the day they worked side by side, laughing whenever balloons floated away or decorations fell down. As the event ended, Nick looked at Leah and realized he had fallen in love. He wanted to tell her how he felt, but feared losing their friendship. Days went by, and he kept searching for the right moment. Finally, on a quiet Friday evening, the mart was nearly empty. Nick walked in carrying a small bouquet of white daisies, remembering Leah had once mentioned they were her favorite flowers. After paying for his groceries, he took a deep breath. "Leah," he said nervously, "I know we met in the most unexpected place, but every visit here has become the best part of my day. You're kind, funny, and always make people smile. I like a lot. Would you like to go on a real date with me?" Leah looked surprised, then smiled, brighter than ever. "I was wondering how long it would take you to ask," she said, laughing softly. "Yes, I'd love to." I couldn't stop smiling. Their first date was simple. They visited a small cafe, walked through a nearby park, and talked for hours. It didn't matter where they were, because they genuinely enjoyed each other's company. Months later, Nick opened his own design studio, and Leah began studying to become a teacher. They celebrated every success together and supported each other through every challenge. Even though life became busier, they never forgot where their story began. Every anniversary, they returned to the same mart. They would buy a chocolate bar and a bottle of water, the same items Nick had once used as an excuse to see Leah. The staff smiled whenever they saw them, because everyone knew their love story had started in those aisles. Standing near the checkout counter one evening, Nick looked at Leah and said, "Who would have thought a grocery store could change two lives?" Leah held his hand and smiled. "Love doesn't always begin in grand places," she replied. "Sometimes it starts in the most ordinary moments, with the simplest hello." Together, they walked out of the mart, grateful that a chance meeting had turned into a beautiful love story, one built on kindness, friendship, trust, and the little moments that mattered most.